Today we're diving into the wild, beaver-obsessed, slightly drunk history of how mountain men named one of America's most beautiful places after a hole. Let's rewind to the early 1800s. Picture this: rough, independent trappers roaming the Rocky Mountains, surviving on their wits, their rifle skills, and an alarming amount of beaver. These weren't your average outdoorsmen. These guys would set their own broken bones, eat rotten meat when necessary, and spend months alone in grizzly country. They called themselves mountain men, and they had their own language. And in that language, a hole wasn't an insult. It was actually a compliment. To these trappers, a hole was a large flat valley completely surrounded by mountains. Think of it like nature's bowl. You'd be traveling through steep, rugged terrain, descending from high elevations, and suddenly drop down into this protected basin. That sensation of entering something enclosed, that's where the term came from. You literally felt like you were going into a hole in the mountains. But here's the key: not just any valley earned the hole designation. They had to be special. We're talking about low-lying valleys with streams, rivers, abundant wildlife, and most importantly, beaver. Lots and lots of beaver. Now you might be wondering why grown men were obsessed over rodents. Well, in the early 1800s, beaver pelts were liquid gold. In Europe and on the East Coast, beaver fur hats were the height of fashion. We're talking about prices of $4 to $6 per pound, and a resourceful mountain man could trap 400 to 500 pounds per year. So do the math. That's potentially over $2,000 a year at a time when an ambitious man might otherwise earn $300 to $500 a year. Not bad for hanging out in pristine wilderness, right? So these holes, these mountain valleys with beaver-rich streams, good camping spots, and plenty of game for food were exactly where mountain men wanted to be. They were prime real estate in the fur trade economy. Now let's talk about the Jackson part of Jackson Hole.